committing to this attack, always aggressive. Got to be careful, mOOnGLaDe does, with this Roach and this Queen getting a little bit caught out of position there. But no, he seems to be, you know, holding this well. But now the tables have turned a little bit in that in the early game, mOOnGLaDe was keeping Filthy on the defensive, and now Filthy is keeping mOOnGLaDe in his base a bit, and mOOnGLaDe just pushing out a little bit, doesn't want to be contained and forced into.
Now, while Filthy was on the offensive there, I would have loved to see him actually expand while he did that, because right now mOOnGLaDe's actually got his expansion up now. So, you know, he had him pinned for a second there. Now he's moving back just to be safe and, you know, reloading now. But I would have loved for him to take the opportunity to actually expand so he doesn't fall behind mOOnGLaDe. So we'll have to just wait and see how this actually pans out.
Yeah, mOOnGLaDe's economic advantage is really quite significant at the moment. 55 compared to 34 harvesters, pulling in 1500 compared to 900, which is just massive. And also it's allowed mOOnGLaDe to get these 2 Evo chambers up, and we're seeing 1-1 Hydra Roach attack and Carapace being researched at the same time, whereas Filthy only has 1 Evo chamber doing the upgrade, but he has got his infestation pit going down already, but he's being a bit defensive and throwing up a few spine crawlers, obviously concerned about a Hydra Roach push that he's not going to be able to deal with. So he has got 4 spine crawlers going down, as opposed to mOOnGLaDe, who's opted for another expansion and has just been producing more units. And a significant ball of Hydra Roaches here. Once again, mOOnGLaDe's sort of keen on Hydras, and this is a little bit of a more Hydra heavy army here, but there are a few Roaches enough so that he can set up a little bit of a front line wherever they have their engagement, so they can take the initial hits while the Hydras go to work. But it'll be interesting as to whether or not Filthy is going to get Infestors, and we are seeing a bunch of Infestors being queued up for Filthy right now, so this could prove a huge difference maker. mOOnGLaDe's Overlord Scout trying to scout out the tech of Filthy here. Will he see this Infestation Pit or these Infestors come out? So he does see the Infestation Pit. Whether or not he's going to see any Infestors actually morphing out is going to be a close run thing. This one almost done, but looks like the Overlord's going to go down just in time. So mOOnGLaDe knows there's an infestation pit, but he didn't see these infestors morph, so he could be assuming that Filthy's just trying to get his hive out. Meanwhile, mOOnGLaDe's getting his own infestors here, and he's getting pathogen glands upgrade, so his infestors, once he starts making them, will immediately pop out with enough energy to cast fungal growth straight off the bat. Lots of spine crawlers being made for Filthy. We have so many spine crawlers going down here. 7 spine crawlers. This is really wants to hold this choke at all costs. Only just now moving out towards his expansion and killing the Zergling off there. He's very vulnerable to air units right now. He's got to be careful and keep his scouting up, and we are seeing the Overseer move out right now, so I think we may see a Changeling or the Overseer himself going to the base just to ensure that there's no air units, because his army is just so vulnerable to air right now. But now mOOnGLaDe's getting his own Infestors online, so we are seeing a Spire from Filthy, so he's going to not bother with Hydras and just go straight into Roach to air with Infestors. So we're probably going to see a Hydra Roach Infestor versus Roach Infestor war very time soon. I don't imagine it's going to be at this choke, because there's just so many spine crawlers. He's going so heavy in these spine crawlers, it looks like he may be thinking about a spine crawler push out, and if he spreads enough creek, he can just keep moving these spine crawlers out. Although at the moment it looks like he's intending to put a strong point at this ramp just so he's completely turtled and then free to attack. Whereas mOOnGLaDe's gone more for units, which I do prefer. I mean, defense doesn't win you games, so I think mOOnGLaDe's situation is much stronger now, and it's just all down to that economic advantage. He's still pushing it, still making sure he maintains that with 69 over 53 and 1900 compared to 1200, so his income is just so much stronger right now.
Yeah, it's a great position for mOOnGLaDe, but you know, he really needs this expansion up, so Filthy is, you know, making this choke point a viable option. He's trying to get that set up. But right now, Filthy does not look interested at all in moving out. He's just continuing to build all these spine crawlers, just more and more being pumped now. So it's going to be up to mOOnGLaDe to actually make something happen here. And he is moving out with this massive ball of Hydras and Roaches and Infestors, and this Overseer leading the way. So we are, you know, thankfully mOOnGLaDe's actually going to you know, let us see something amusing at the moment instead of just sitting here looking at these spine crawlers being built.
Yeah, it's good timing for mOOnGLaDe because this Spire is morphing into an advanced Spire right now. So that means Broodlords could be on the way, which is going to be terrible, terrible news for mOOnGLaDe, who's only just now getting his Spire online. But attacking this choke is going to be so difficult. There's so many Spinecrawlers up for Filthy here, not to mention the other side has a bunch of Spinecrawlers as well. So he's just so fortified and so strong. These Infestors coming out with some initial fungal growths at the cost of one Infestor. Pretty nice move there by Filthy, as these Hydras are just mass fungaled, already taking a fair bit of damage. Another fungal growth going off there, as well as getting a free Infestor snipe and taking out the Meg statue. But no, we are seeing quite a few fungals going off. Really nice usage so far by Filthy here. He's just been able to micro in and out so well. This one Infestor is so low on 4 hit points. But now mOOnGLaDe is realizing how strong this position is, and he's playing into Filthy's hands, because now he's looking to attack from the east, and there's just more Spinecrawlers there. And mOOnGLaDe is repelled, so these Spinecrawlers have just paid for themselves in this positioning, because mOOnGLaDe realizes he can't bust it. Meanwhile, we're seeing the first Broodlords come online from Filthy. So, by going mass Spinecrawler, it means that he's just so well defended, and with his Roach Infestors, and he's been able to get Broodlords up and running. mOOnGLaDe's economy, though, is really paying dividends for him, because he's got 13 Corruptors morphing right now. There's all these larvae are going to be Corruptor, so it's going to be pretty tough for Filthy to get much use out of his Broodlords with so many Corruptors on the way. And mOOnGLaDe, in the meantime, taking a 4th base, just extending his economic lead. So Filthy really needs to do some damage with these initial Broodlords, and he is moving out now, but these Broodlords are just so slow. It's going to take them so long to get across the map. And Filthy is moving out, but mOOnGLaDe just taking the opportunity to run for it, realizing that he doesn't want to fight those Broodlords until his Corruptors join his army, but now the Corruptors have enforced him. So we may see a skirmish, but these Corruptors are in good shape. Oh, looks like he may engage without the Broodlords there. Broodlords finally getting in. First fungal growth, getting a bit of fungal vengeance from mOOnGLaDe as he takes out this initial line of roaches here. The Broodlords fleeing for their lives, but looks like the Corruptors are up for free kills. One nice fungal growth there from Filthy, catching a bunch of Corruptors off. But there's still enough Corruptors working on these Broodlords, and they have no safety to run to. There's nothing backing them up. They're just taking so much damage from these Corruptors. One Corruptor bound, they're trying to fend off the the attacks on these Broodlords, but down 2 Broodlords left. 1 Broodlord left. Looks like all the Broodlords going down for Filthy there, so huge investment being lost by mOOnGLaDe's mass Corruptor.
Yeah, great call by mOOnGLaDe, just to warp in all those... Sorry, spawn, not Protoss. They're spawning in all these Corruptors. So fantastic timing on that, and just completely made short work of all those Broodlords. So you'd be not... Filthy's in a terrible position right now. He's having to slowly build all these Corruptors to fight this massive Corruptor ball for mOOnGLaDe. But, you know, he's in such a strong position, mOOnGLaDe, with all these expansions going on now. So even if he loses this whole army, they'll be right back there in a couple of seconds. So... yeah, we'll have to see. Yeah,
mOOnGLaDe's also very near the food cap, having a 190 army, whereas Filthy's at 113. And that's just that economic advantage. Filthy's spending most of his income, while mOOnGLaDe's sitting on 6k banked minerals and 1600 gas. So he could afford to just throw this army at Filthy and then immediately create a new one, because he's going to hit the supply cap very, very quickly. And we haven't seen further upgrades from mOOnGLaDe, which I find is a bit surprising. He's only at 1-1 now, and he definitely has the money, so he should be upgrading... he should be spending quite a lot on these upgrades, because he is using those Hydras a fair bit. He is getting his greater Spire online, so that he can have Broodlords on his own. And we're seeing these Corruptors just checking out the scenery, having a bit of a Corruptor war here to see if they can snipe off any Broodlords. But no, now Filthy bringing in a few Hydras, but they're going to get caught out of position here by the Hydra Roach Ball of mOOnGLaDe. And Filthy calls GG. Unbelievable. He just recognized that his macro was just so weak there, and that he had no real answer for this massive push, and there was just too many minerals banked for mOOnGLaDe. His macro was just too strong, and he's just as he makes that attack, he uses that attack as a as a distraction to bring on 2 more bases. So his macro is just so strong, and Filthy, I think, well, this is the bit of a downfall for Random, but having spawned in a mirror matchup in Zerg vs Zerg, where mOOnGLaDe is just so strong, was going to be always really, really tough for him. But I think that mOOnGLaDe was just too strong on the day.
Yeah, great play by mOOnGLaDe. Looking forward to game 2.
Yep, so that's 1-0 for mOOnGLaDe in this best of 3. So let's go to game 2 and see if Filthy has an answer.